As the old saying goes, life is about the journey, not the destination. It's a lovely phrase for all those inspirational posters right next to live, laugh, love, and home is where your dog is, but what does it actually mean? At its most basic, it's a way of looking at life not as a series of goals and objectives, but as the things that happen on the way to trying to achieve those goals. If you should fail to meet a goal that you've set for yourself, that doesn't mean that it was a waste of time. You've still grown as a person, learned new lessons, had new experiences. Just because you didn't get to where you wanted to be doesn't mean you haven't arrived somewhere. The only way you can truly waste time is to not do anything. This is all very twee and nice, but to me it begs a very obvious question. Does the destination not still matter though? Sure, life is about the journey, but you cannot have a journey without a destination. Even if you don't set a destination, if you just drive down the street and stop when you run out of gas, wherever you end up stopping will be your destination, regardless of whether you planned it that way or not. Life may indeed be about the journey, but you can't journey indefinitely. Journeys, by their very nature, have to end eventually.
Sable is a game about exploration, a game about journeys. You play as Sable, a girl who's about to undergo the most important journey of her life, a coming-of-age ritual known as the gliding. In the strange sci-fi desert of Sable, everyone wears a mask. These masks define them, their job, their culture, and their role in society. When a kid like Sable comes of age, they're sent out into the world to explore, meet new people, and eventually decide which mask they're going to wear. There's no rush. In fact, you're encouraged to take your time and properly consider such a monumental decision before jumping in. Make sure you've seen all the world has to offer before finding your place in it. And that works well enough for me, because if life is about the journey, then Sable is one heck of a life. The world of Sable is gorgeous, but also strange, alien, and ancient. It is a fascinating place to explore. The oceans of deserts hold much life, many different people and places, but also oddities. Ruins which seem to predate the people living there, built on scales unimaginable to the current folk. And then there's the spaceships, with messages from ghosts of people who lived long, long ago. It's all there to see and discover. But your main goal is collecting masks. Collecting masks requires doing quests, and there's no one in the world who isn't interested in a bit of free labour. Help investigate some crimes around the city to collect your City Watch mask. Collect scrap from those ancient ships to get your Scrapper badge. A huge host of different roles in society to find your place in. As you explore the world, you're also exploring these roles, giving them a try and see how they fit you or how they fit Sable. But the longer the gliding goes on, the more of the world you see, the harder that final decision becomes. Not every mask fits into any category. What to make of the vigilante mask you could pick up in the city? Are you really ready to commit to that sort of life? Or how about the weird hollowed out worm you find on a shrine in the gut of an ancient sandworm? Yeah, okay, maybe not that one. But what about the chums? Chums are these weird little winged snake guys around the desert, and the chum queen is looking for her kids. So you bring them back and she rewards you with extra stamina for climbing around, and once you've found them all, she rewards you with the chum mask. Are you ready to become the guardian of the chum queen? She's a beautiful and majestic creature, also sentient and vaguely magical. But you're probably not going to see many people again spending your life combing the desert for chums. You're going to have to make a decision eventually. The gliding cannot last forever. Journeys need a destination. It's called the gliding because for the journey you get a magic stone that allows you to glide. It keeps you alive if you fall from great heights, and also allows you to access otherwise out of reach areas. But the stone's power fades over time until eventually it's just a keepsake of an earlier time. If you haven't made your decision by then, well, it's going to be a whole lot harder to keep going. Everyone in this world has been on this journey. Some have fond memories of their time gliding. Some people knew exactly which mask they wanted right from the start and beelined straight to it. Others regret their decision. One person, a city guard, has even decided to take a second gliding later in life. No magic stone, no safety net, just the feeling that she chose wrong and wants another go at it. A decision which confuses a lot of people.
Being a teenager sucked. Do you remember being a teenager? Are you currently a teenager? It sucks, right? Your hormones are running wild, your body's doing a bunch of weird shit, and all the while everyone around you expects you to have the rest of your life perfectly mapped out with a clear and distinct destination in mind. It was never that easy for me. I'm still jealous of those kids who seem to have it all figured out. Oh, in 5 years I'm going to be a doctor, and then you look them up 5 years later and somehow they are actually a doctor. How can that be? Are they cheating or something? I came across a very bitter and very funny post on the unpopular opinion subreddit where this guy was trying to argue that basically people who say this, that it's about the journey, are just failures trying to cope. And here's the thing, that's a very edgelord Redditor perspective, but I'm not entirely convinced that it's completely wrong either. I mean, when is that phrase usually trotted out? It's usually when you've just failed at something, when you missed out on a job that you had several interviews for or something. Yeah, it's all about the journey, but if you don't start hitting some of those destinations by the time you're 30, you start getting some weird looks at family dinner. Deciding the direction of your future is one of the hardest decisions that you will ever make, and the time that you're given to make that choice seems distinctly unfair. But I suppose that's just life, isn't it?
Sable ends whenever you decide to end it. Once you've acquired at least 3 masks, you can end the gliding whenever you want. But there's so much more than 3 masks in the world. If you're anything like me, your mask collection is going to look a lot more like this when you finally reach the end. There are so many options, and you can only pick one. A compromise of epic proportions. But then again, just because a journey is over, a destination is reached, doesn't mean that it's the last journey. Life encompasses many journeys. It's so easy to view the end of the gliding as the last exciting thing in life. But any of these occupations would be an adventure all of their own, more limited and specific than the gliding for sure, but a journey nonetheless. Take for example, the whale. All around the world are the crash ships of ancient explorers, but the biggest and most important is called the Whale by the locals. Inside is an ancient AI, and by reactivating her nodes across all the ships, you learn the history of how humans came to be on this planet. They were explorers, but they crashed in a dead and desolate wasteland where the air was deadly and the storms were never ending. Not an ideal destination for their journey. But they persevered, set up devices to make the environment stable for human life. It wouldn't be enough for them, they'd have to wear masks whenever they ventured outside. But their children's children, maybe they could make a life here. The end of one journey leads to the beginning of a whole lot more. There's even a mask in the whale if you want to tie yourself back to those ancient pioneers. When the time came, after a lot of careful deliberation, I chose a wildcard option. I chose the chum mask. Sure, it would make me an outcast of society, chasing down strange little sky snakes for a magic queen, but you know what? It was honest to what I had spent most of the game doing anyway, and what me and Sable were really after. The desert, spending time out in the world, exploring and hunting for collectibles. It wouldn't be the same as the exploring being done on the gliding, it would have to be a lot more careful. But it was a new journey, a journey I chose for myself with a new destination somewhere in the great unknown.
The gliding is about exploring the world and deciding your future, sure, but it's also about accepting the limitations of life's great journey. It's impossible within one lifetime to see everything and do everything. Eventually, at some point, you have to choose something to do with your life, ideally something that keeps food on the table and the landlord at bay. I can't serve the chum queen in real life as much as I would love to. But you also don't have to fall into society's expectations, into the neat little boxes arrayed in front of you. You can forge your own path. Choose new and weird and unexpected destinations, and as long as you know what you're doing, everything should work out well enough, even if the journey to get there was very roundabout. At least that's what I keep telling myself. Thank you for watching, and a very special thank you to my wonderful patrons for your continued support. If you'd like to see your name up here, or just support the work that I do, then please consider signing up. It would mean a lot to me, as well as a like, comment, share, subscribe, and ring the bell. This video was made as part of the Essay Library video jam, in which we all had 48 hours to make a video on the theme of Journey, which, in case you hadn't figured it out by now, was the theme of this video. So if you want to see what some of these other wonderful and talented people have come up with in 48 hours, you can find that in this playlist up here. Or if you want to stick around here for a while longer, here is a video about Chants of Sonara that you might like. I don't actually know how to drive, so I'm going to get out of the car now.